Hey, welcome back everyone to Wargroove with Act 2 Mission 1, Beyond the Border. Now, in this level, we're going to be dealing with a new mechanic, the fog.
Very well.
As you've seen levels before, we can see across the entire map with no problem. Now with this new fog mechanic in, we can't see very far aside from our own unit's line of sight. We have ourselves a new unit here. The dog. The dog is the Wargroove equivalent of the recon in Advanced Wars. It has a high vision range, but it's extremely weak in combat. You're not going to really be seeing much of these during this Deathless run, considering they are extremely frail. Unlike the recon in Advanced Wars, they have no ability to shrug off damage. They take extreme amounts of damage from even swordsmen. But they are indeed useful because you can put them in mountains and see where enemy foot soldiers are hiding, considering that we have a hard time seeing through the fog and all the trees. Okay, so let's continue.
Lightning blast!
The main thing that you want to do is make sure you're not going too far forward. You want to keep everyone together, because in these tight quarters, you can see you could be ambushed extremely quickly. Also showcasing why the dog is very inviolable for most run types. However, they do have something special though. They have a pretty easy crit by lining up an adjacent attack with a different pup. The plan that you want to do for the most part is just make sure you leave injured pups to basically be the scouts, because even though they can't fight as well, their vision range is still the same.
I have a spell for this.
Huh?
Yeah.
We'll move up and attack with our archer. Okay, so the main plan here is we're gonna reach this barracks. Once we reach this barracks, that will effectively cause an ambush spawn at this very bottom area. So the thing is, we want to make sure we're acting extremely quickly, so that way we can deal with them, both the attacks separately instead of at the same time. For the most part, you just want to scout and try and preserve as much health on your units as you go along. Again, keep your weakened guys in the back and try and reinforce when you can. Chance this here. I mean, even if it does live, it shouldn't do that much damage back to me. But in their case, you see, it didn't live. Okay, I'm actually going to ignore these two villages on this side over here, because I know there are more things guarding it, and the effort in order to capture those isn't really worth it, considering the ambush will take them out in the 2 returns. We're trying to do this as quickly as possible with no unit deaths. Okay, we finally reached this barracks here. You can indeed capture in the fog, but you need to be careful because you can't see who's in control of it. We just gotta move the rest of our army forward. Yeah, and as I said before, you want to mostly base your dogs in the mountains so that way they can give you the maximum vision range. Okay, so now that we've captured the base, the first unit that we want to get out is a knight. I'm gonna put this dog on the mountain. So far we haven't been able to see much, so we can move forward. And I'm going to keep this injured dog in the mountain so that way it can give us more intel on whenever the enemy does decide to show up. Okay, once you advance past this river and bridge, the enemy will become activated. And they'll pretty much begin attacking you. Sedge, the enemy commander, is in this area over here, and our victory condition is either to destroy this barracks or destroy Sedge himself. So you should expect a counter as soon as the enemy to try and counter you as soon as you move forward. So this would be the best spot to use Emmerich's Groove, which is the Elder Shield. Just increases defense. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, defense in Wargroove isn't as powerful as the defense in Advanced Wars. For the most part, the damage that most units do just dwarfs whatever minor defensive bonus. But it's good for a different unit later on. As you can see, the enemy has spawned at the bottom in an ambush. We immediately get attacked. But that's fine considering this is something we foresaw.
For this.
They've stolen the village. Okay. I'm actually going to recover Emmerich on this man, because even though he's not really going to be getting as much else from the defense, it's still a decent amount. I mean, it can help you in even engagements. It's usually when the enemy stockpiles on you that it doesn't work as much. Now move these guys to the side, bring up our archer, bring up our knight, bring in the swordsman. Okay, so we know they're coming from this bottom area, so we're gonna try and hold here until we need to move. Basically just to get a better idea of when and how fast they're approaching. Okay, the next unit that we want to get now is another dog, I believe. Yes, because we want to keep this dog in the mountain, but if he rushes forward and can attack, we can use this dog to go and encounter. Okay, here we actually run across a new type of unit that we actually do not have access to for ourselves, called the Mage. It's primarily an anti-air unit, but we'll get more into that when we actually have ones of our own to use.
I have a spell for this.
Okay, we see they're approaching, so we need to pull back to make sure this dog doesn't sadly die. Okay. Mages are foot soldiers and still vulnerable to archers. And this man has made the unfortunate decision of moving into a spear line. Not smart. Gonna reinforce Imric again. And we're gonna begin threatening to move in with the knight. And this other spear. Okay, what to build? So you see, we know there are swordsmen coming up. So at this point, I don't think it'd be a good idea to build any more light units. Instead, try and save up for like a heavy unit, like a knight or an archer.
A spell for this.
As you can see, our cities are quickly going to become under attack. Okay. But we have our groove again. So what we can do is move forward ever so slightly. And because of the slight defensive bonus, we're able to fight them and be relatively even. Gonna move forward and place another defensive crystal.
Cherry stones, defend us!
Moving the dog. Okay. Now what we're gonna do here is we're going to put the knight slightly far forward. We gotta put the knight slightly far forward, so that way we can destroy the barracks in the next turn. We can counterattack this swordsman with our own. And we can move up the pike in order to cover the dog, but we're not going to attack. We're not going to attack. We're instead just gonna save and make sure we have enough health to survive whatever counterattack may come its way. We're going to build a knight in order to try and stop these infantry at the bottom. I'm gonna finish off this one. Okay. Yes, we see they're moving forward. Okay. They didn't focus down They didn't focus down my spear. Unfortunately, our base is indeed coming under attack. As you can see, the enemy has lots of things in the fog here. But strangely enough, we haven't seen their commander. I guess that's one thing with the AI. They're not very forward with their commander. But ultimately, we can just destroy their barracks and still win the match. Yeah. So that was really simple. I mean, it's mostly just the intro into the fog mechanic. Of course, if you don't know about the ambush, then that's a completely different story. But ultimately, that was the first act, the first mission of Act 2. See you in the next one. Thank you.